All right. Hello, hello. We are live. This is the No1 podcast. I am your host, Coach Jake. What's going on? Jose Blanco, CF Wells, Erkin. Happy to see you people today. It is Monday. It was my birthday. Man, it was crazy. Hope you guys are doing good, man. Just waiting for some people to show up. CF, what is up, dude? 49 now. Third Planet, Lyrically Indigenous, Club Lang, PPS.sev, Frederico, Rampaloto, what is up? Hey, where are you guys at? Hey, thank you for the happy birthday, man. Yeah, it's cool. Tell me where you at. Let's do a roll call, man. What country? What city? What building? Where are you at, man? Happy birthday. Thank you, PPS Sev. Yeah, 49, man. 49. What do you think of my crazy sign here? You like it? Freaking out? I can do a show. Whoa, there we go. There we go. Rochester, New York in the house. Knoxville, Tennessee. Jose Blanco's in Rochester. CF Wells next. Knoxville. Jose Blanco, happy birthday. Thanks, dude. Yeah, it's been awesome. It was awesome. Had a good time. I got a couple bottles of whiskey. Oh, wait, we got Stellar Steven dropping in. What's he got to say? Stellar Steven. Third Planet Martial Arts in Cartersville, Georgia. Clubber Lang, happy birthday. Thank you, sir. Polar Bear Grappling, what is up? Okay, Stellar Steven. Okay, you did a thing. Brandon Lewis busting me, bro. Stop calling out. I like people, man. Come on, Brandon. I'm calling you out. What's up, brother? Warriors M join. All right, okay, fine. Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. I'm going to do my thing. So I want to talk about productivity today. Like, what does it mean? You've got to be productive. CF Wells, they shouted you on a book I'm reading right now called Rough and Tumble. Oh, yeah. Matt Granahan and Eric Paulson, dude. Check it out, dude. Matt's done a lot of great work. Obviously, people who are tuning in here. Wait, let me turn this distraction off. Whoa. Okay, we don't want any stroke people in here. See, this is my new neon sign. Whoa, isn't that cool? Damn. Programmable. It's got all kinds of different settings. So, yeah, Eric Paulson and Matt put that out years ago. Great piece of history. Check it out. Appreciate the shout out. That's awesome. So, productivity, man. What's it mean? Okay, dude, I'm sorry I'm like addicted to this thing. Okay, strokes. No. Don't need anybody having a seizure. That's definitely a seizure. All right, we'll just keep it on. Appreciate you guys. So, yeah, I don't know, man. What's going on with you people? Hope you had a good weekend. If you do want to tell me where you're from, I'd love to hear about it. I get people from all over the planet. Always love hearing that. Got people from like Australia, Japan, England, all that stuff. So, okay. All right, Brandon, I'm getting to it, man. I swear, dude. So, Dustin's in, Kauta Watanabe, Rabbit Tarek, Clubber Lang is out of Charlotte, North Carolina. So, productivity. I want to talk to you guys about it. It's super duper PPS.sev LA, man. I love LA. Used to love LA. It's kind of turned into a toilet, but what could you do? Yeah, man, you got to be productive. So it was my birthday this weekend, and as such, I was being, kind of reflecting on the things that I've done and blah, 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 blah. I'm 49, so, it happens like that. PPS says, yeah, it has turned into a toilet. It's sad, man. LA was so cool. Man, early 2000s, I loved it. I lived in Venice Beach. It was amazing. Anyway, I got philosophical and started I actually wanted to go and look at all the things that I have created. Okay. Now, I mean, I guess I could bore you guys with that list. I posted it up on my personal Facebook and made it public so you guys could see it. For those of you who maybe are, I know Stellar Stevens on YouTube. Brandon Lewis is on Facebook, so you can look. All the guys on Instagram, maybe I'll do a screen capture, but I think I ended up getting 43 items, but there was multiple items in each sometimes. So I think I'm well over 50. Okay. So let me see. If, I hope this doesn't mess up everybody out on Clubhouse. By the way, I broadcast out to LinkedIn, 2 different YouTube channels, 2 different Facebook pages, Twitch, Twitter. I can't even think of where else I'm on. So, hey, Billy, do me a favor. Will you go help Grandma?
Yeah,
she's leaving. Try to hurry. Alexa, hang up. So, yeah, like I went through and let me see if I can look this up here. Yeah, 43 items. Now, I'm going to jam on these because I don't want to bore you. Okay, here we go. Modern Catch Can, the Sport of Professional Wrestling, my most recent book. Liberation, a new prosperity consciousness, a new guide to prosperity consciousness. My previous new book, Strange Attractor, Discordian Libertarian Writings of Jake Shannon, Endonomics, Default Deflation Derivatives in the End of the United States as We Know It. These are all books. I started with my books. The Hypnotist, Healer, Head Hacker, and Headliner, Teocond, The Hijacking of Liberty in America, Exposing the Neoconservative Infiltration and Takeover of the 21st Century Tea Party Movement, Physical Chess, My Life of Catch Wrestling by Billy Robinson, Jake Shannon, Say Uncle, Catch Can, and the Roots of Mixed Martial Arts, Pro Wrestling, Modern Grappling, Anomaly, Revolutionary Knowledge in Everyday Life, The Classical Pugilism and Bare Knuckle Boxing Companion Volumes 1 and Volume 2, Introduction to Vintage Jiu-Jitsu, Sport of Catch Wrestling, The Certified Catch Wrestler Handbook, The Handbook of Authentic Indian Club Swinging. Then those were just all the books. Now moving into websites, War Catch Wrestling, Shoe Pro Wrestling, which were 3 different events, 1, 2, and 3. King Catch Wrestling, big tournament that I started years ago. Coaching Catch, which is the scientific wrestling coaching curriculum that is the only curriculum put on by me and Billy Robinson. So co-developed by me and Billy. Then, of course, there's Scientific Wrestler, which is the affiliate program. Banging. This is, dude, I'm so excited about this. Go check out Scientific Wrestling. Omar, what's up? Kintaro Masafumi, Logan Thomas, what's up, people? Okay, keep going. ScientificWrestler.com, ScientificWrestling.com, Mayspell, number 1 coaching, this podcast, number 1 podcast, MentalSelfDefense.com, which is a gathering of all my writings. So those of you that don't want to go and read all, buy them off Amazon or Kindle, go to MentalSelfDefense.com. Okay, Pinup Pro Wrestling Volume 1, Pinup Pro Wrestling Volume 2. Yes, my wife and I actually put together competitive Catch Can. We called it pro wrestling. Competitive matches with pinup girls. This was back in the day. You can still find them on eBay, but I stopped producing that. Brandon Lewis, I'm going to challenge you just because you're nervous. I'm not nervous, bro. Dude, you're doing good. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Okay, here's some DVDs. Break a Leg, the Josh Barnett Leg Lock Seminar. The Finisher, Pinning for Grappling and MMA with Wade Chalice. War Catch Wrestling, Lessons in Catch Can with Billy Robinson. Sport of Catch Can, Conceptual Syllabus, starring Billy Robinson. The Double Wrist Lock DVD, starring Billy Robinson. Wade Chalice, Legal Pain. Josh Barnett, Catch Wrestling, Volume 1, Punishing Rides. Josh Barnett's Attacking the Guard Seminar. Eric Paulson, there we go. Neck Brace Breaker. Billy Scott, Catch Can Wrestling. Carl Gotch's Conditioning for Combat Sports. Professional Wrestling Fujiwara Gumi Deluxe 2 DVD set. Submissions and Pin from Carnival Catch Wrestling with Dick Cardinal. Mayspell Strength Training Basics DVD starring yours truly. And the Authoritative Encyclopedia of Scientific Wrestling Volumes 1 through 4. Dude, I have produced a fucking shit ton. That is the truth. Okay, so, people wonder, that's like 50 fucking things, man. All of them things, physical objects, books, instructional courses, websites, DVDs, events. That's not even counting the events, dude. Like on the coach, like Certified Catch Wrestler. Let's see here. Let me bring this up. And again, I hope I'm not fucking everybody up on Clubhouse, but let me just do some math. So let's say I do 10 training camps a year, and I've been doing 10 of those a year since 2007. let's be conservative, call it 8 because COVID and all that shit. So 2007 was that 15 years, 15 times 8. That's over 120 seminars camps that I've done. Okay, that doesn't count seminars and everything else. So it's a lot of shit, bro. Omar, how's Sakuraba's DVD? That's good. It's good. It's good. It's Japanese. Omar, I didn't know you produced that many. Awesome. Dude, it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. Now, part of that has to do with just who I am. I am totally freaking type A, if you can't tell. I'm hyped up. I've got a lot of energy and I'm very creative and I have a lot of drive. Okay. But that's what it takes. That's what it takes. So, if you want, now this is what I've done, like with the Scientific Wrestler program, all those, like the majority, except for some of the books that aren't relevant to wrestling, say, I've made it to where you can, if you don't have products, you can sell them. I get in the affiliate program, you get resale rights to all those products, not obviously the ones that are relevant to grappling. Plus you get the curriculum so you can teach people, the one that was co-developed by me and Billy. You get the King of Catch Wrestling tournament with the rule set co-developed by me and Carl Gotch. So do you understand, like, being productive is the core of your duty as a human. Now, you're going to be productive. Now, I mean, okay, not everybody's productive. What I mean is that on net, you want to make sure that you're producing more than you consume, right? So look at social media right now. Am I using it as a consumer or a producer? Am I using it as a consumer or am I using social media as a producer right now? Simple, right? I'm using it as a producer. I'm creating content. I am entertaining you. I just rattled off all of my products. So maybe I'll get a sale or two. Maybe you'll want to become a part of my system with the Scientific Wrestler program, right? So I am being productive. I am selling. I'm educating people about my products. But this is what you have to do if you want to be independent, if you want the freedom that comes with entrepreneurship, right? If you want to be free. Now, I love, for me, what I recommend with my clients, so the podcast is No1 podcast, right? And it's a play on words, how to go from No1 to number one, all right? Like that's the premise. So what I've done and what I recommend, now I've made several businesses, some of them in areas that I actually don't give a shit about, okay? I mean, I'm gonna be real. Like sometimes there's things that you're good at, but you don't like them. So 2002, for example, I got my master's degree in financial mathematics. I'm good at it. It's interesting, but it is nowhere near a passion like catch as catch can, like scientific wrestling is for me. So while I've used that degree to generate income and to pump money into the other business, scientific wrestling, it wasn't my passion. So when I'm advising people, you need the very first thing when I take on a client, I have basically on the business side with No1 Coaching. If you go to No1 Coaching, No1Coaching.com, that'll show you kind of the offerings. I need to redo the website a bit, but I basically have two clients. Okay. I have corporate clients that are trying to scale or turn around their business. Okay. They're suffering and they're not getting sales and their marketing sucks. And I definitely can help you with that. Two, a company that is trying to grow and scale and trying to get basically buy-in from everybody that works for the company to become conscious and responsible for revenues. Okay. Centro de Estudio de Jiu-Jitsu. What is up? What is going on? Happy to see you. Thanks for popping in. So that's what I do. I mean, really what I do is I like when I go into a company, I change the managers into coaches. Do you understand? Like nobody in the world wants to be managed. Nobody wants to be bossed. But people do, like performers, people who kick ass and like salespeople or athletes or artists, they like to be coached, right? So that's what I'm trying to do on the business side. So I help people. Now, the other audience that I hit are what are called Henrys. Okay, Henry, Henry. It's an acronym for high income earner, not yet retired. Henry. Okay, so you've got a good job. Maybe you're making over 80, 100, 150, something like that. And I help those people. So I help corporations grow and scale, turn their managers into coaches. Then I also help people looking to really create a supercharged side hustle that could potentially be what they do with their life, their passion, right? So that's how scientific wrestling happened. 2002, like I said, I graduated, had my master's degree in financial math. I'm working in investment banking and mortgage banking in these areas. And, I'm making six figures because it was a high paying gig in LA, which was great. It was a great time of my life, but I was spending like 12 hours a day, not counting commute time, behind a desk, not doing what I wanted to do, which had to do with grappling and wrestling. And, 2002, I was 29. Okay. I'm 49 now. So I had to figure out, and I was running out of time. 29, man. Like there's an expiration date on athletes. So I started being like, dude, okay, I'm running out of time. I need to start figuring out how I'm going to really contribute and how I'm going to make a difference and how I'm going to have impact, how I'm going to have legacy in this thing that I feel is very important. Okay. And my way to do that was to outproduce everybody. That's how I just outwork everybody. That's how I was in wrestling. Okay. I just made sure that I always had more gas in the tank than the other guy if I could. And then I knew more. Okay. And this is the same thing on business. So I have almost 50 products. I have an inventory of 50 products. Right. Oh, Fighting Library. I don't think I put that down. Fighting Library, which is a complete, fightinglibrary.com. It's a compilation of, it's like over 10,000 pages of historical documents. It's all the stuff from the bare knuckle boxing books and the jiu-jitsu books, the mace book, all the scientific wrestling encyclopedias I produced at the very beginning. Okay. For a super cheap price, man. It's like 50, 60 bucks or something. It's like truly a library. All digital too. So you get it instantly. You can download it, take it wherever you want, reproduce it, whatever. So this is what I recommend, right? Is that you really start producing, and you need to try to make it look as good as you can. Now there's a balance to be made here, right? The balance is quality and quantity. So I tried to find a spot where it was good enough that I could feel okay selling it. And I was more concerned with the content and not with the polish. Now, this is funny because I started doing this back in 2003 and filming everything with my camera and all that. I learned that from watching old skateboarding videos with my roommates in college, undergrad. Everything was on these handheld cameras and stuff. I was like, dude, they're selling that and they're doing them with skateboard videos. I can do this with grappling. And so, but now everybody films out of their camera. Okay. So I believe that you just have to keep producing, produce, right? Like I just completely outworked everybody else in this field. Right. And then what ends up happening is you inspire other people. Does that make sense? Okay. We've got Backup popping in. He's out on YouTube. Brazilians can train catch wrestling ? How much time does it take to become a black belt in catch wrestling? Well, about the same time as it takes to become a black belt in boxing. Okay, so what's up? Dudas. Dude Us, what's up, man? Happy to see you. You're out on Twitch. I think I get like one or two viewers on Twitch, but I'm out there anyway. I'm producing. Um, yeah. So, guys, the key, in my opinion, right? Like people always say, "Oh, work smarter, don't work harder," and I'm like, "Yeah. How about I work smarter and I work harder?" Now I'm going to beat the people who just work hard because I'm working smart, but I'm going to beat the people who just working smart because I'm working hard too. Does that make sense? So, Dude Us, let's see. How can I make money at 14? All right, I think this is a great question. My daughter is 15, and we're in Colorado, and the laws are a bit in pain in the ass. They're a pain in the ass, right? It's hard as a young person to make money. Some people like will hire at 14, some at 15, some at 16. So my advice, honestly, is if you're too young for somebody to hire you, and maybe that's because it's a legal thing, I very much recommend start learning how to make your own business. Okay. I know of a young man, he's here in Boulder. I think he's 16. He runs a software company that makes like well over $1 million a year. Okay. So for you young people, I think that, had I a time machine, I could go give myself advice, I would probably really set myself early up on a path of entrepreneurship and investing as early as possible and really getting an understanding. And, of course, you got to learn from books at first, but trying to find a good mentor as well. So I don't know, Dudas, if that helps you, but that is what I would do. Stellar Steven asks, "What's my Twitch?" Dude, I don't even know. Just look up Jake Shannon on Twitch. I don't know, dude. It might be under No1 Coaching. I should probably know that better. I apologize. I'll try to find out for next time. And Stellar Steven says network and study up. Yeah, I mean, this is the other thing that I wish I would have known earlier. So it is important to produce, okay? Like create content and out-create problems. It is also just as important to build out the biggest possible network that you can. Okay, so let me give you an example. Because I've been doing this, Dudas piped in. Thanks, man. Listen, that's where I would start. I would start going on TikTok and YouTube, watching guys like Grant Cardone, watch guys like Gary Vee. Just don't necessarily take what they're saying verbatim. Like, just immerse yourself in it so you can start really getting a grasp. This one woman that I really like that's up and coming that teaches this kind of stuff is Cody Sanchez. Find her CODIE Sanchez. I've really been enjoying her content. I think she's really giving great advice for people that are looking to start out and start making some money. Now, granted, she takes a little bit of a different approach. I'm a guy that says start a side hustle based on your passion, but she makes a very good point that the boring businesses bring in a lot of cash flow. So, the most important thing is to start generating income with maybe your normal job or whatever way that you can at the beginning. And then start making enough money to where you can take care of your basic expenses and then peeling off of that to start investing, whether it's in an investment you believe in, real estate, stocks, crypto, whatever that may be, or what I think, if you're really smart, can be a business, and you can definitely get a great return on your investment if you pick the right business to invest in. Some like car washes or vending machines. If you find the right location, man, they're boring, but you can make a lot of money, right? So I don't know if that helps, but because I started in 2003, I started before Facebook was even an idea. I think YouTube had just started. My point here is that I was an early adopter on all these platforms. Okay. So, I was able to kind of organically grow. And now, I'm going to be honest, where my challenge is because I organically grew with these platforms. I am 49 years old, and you saw how much I produced, but there's still only so much one person can do. And so I'm going to be real. Some of this marketing stuff, it's hard to keep up with every single thing, right? So I know a little bit about all of the platforms. How can I market on TikTok? How can I market on Twitter? How can I market on Facebook? How can I market on YouTube? But I know enough because I don't want, like, my business, when I do my business consulting, is about business development. It has a little bit of all of the things that are needed for somebody, okay? But I'm not going to just focus only on marketing, which is absolutely crucial, maybe the most important part. But I know a lot about marketing, okay? So I'm going to do that so that I know when I hire somebody that I'm not being taken advantage of. This is one of the things that allows me to produce. So, for example, when I rattle off all those books that I produced, or all of those instructionals I produced, whether it was Josh or with Wade Chalice or Billy Robinson, or all these things that I produced to sell, the inventory, the library of stuff. The ideas are mine. The writings are mine. The presentation is mine. But I needed help from other people. Okay. So in the instructionals, it's obvious. I needed an instructor, like I needed a Josh Barnett or a Wade or these guys. So obviously it was more than me. I needed an editor, right? I needed a graphic designer. These are things that I didn't do, but I was part of the process. I was the producer. I was the creator. It's like if you go to see a movie, sure, whatever, that Thor, Taiki Waititi or whatever his name is. I'm sorry, I just don't know his name. But he was a writer and a director in that film. Okay. By the way, great director. He's not a good writer in my opinion. But anyway, at least for that kind of stuff. So for the Thor movie, this last one was not that good. But my point is sure, he's a writer and the director. But you have to sit through that post-credit scene and you can see how many people, it's thousands of people that it requires to get stuff done. So the bigger your network, the better off you're going to be. You're going to need people who can help you create your stuff. You're going to need people to help you market and sell it, bring it to market, push it. But then you're going to also need clients. So when I'm talking like about produce, you've got to create a fuck ton of content. I mean, I rattle off that list, dude. It's like ridiculous. And you've got to have a gigantic Rolodex. So this podcast, I found a streaming platform that allows me to stream to almost all of my audience that I've collected on all of these platforms. And I've done the math. It's over 100,000 people. Now, I'm broadcasting to potentially 100,000 people. However many people tune in, I might get a basis point, a fraction of that, especially because, I do this podcast every day, but I kind of just pop on when I have time. I'm just going to be real. Like I'm out doing all my stuff, making my meetings, doing all these things. And I'm like, well, shit, I got an hour right now. Let's go. And I throw it up. Okay. So maybe I'm getting 20 people, but those are 20 people that I'm getting in front of to connect with. So I can begin to establish the process of trust, right? Because people are not going to buy from people that they don't know, that they don't trust. So I'm beginning that process so people can actually know me and realize, okay, yeah, this guy's done all this shit, but is he actually is he a douche? Is he a nice guy? Is he stupid? Is he smart? Like they don't know. And so this is me doing this. This is a marketing platform for me. Okay. But I'm also creating content, right? So here's the cool thing. Like we know that, we know that some of the most valuable followers that you can have in terms of conversions are YouTubers, right? Well, guess what? Every show I do now becomes evergreen content on Facebook that people can now watch or search, or they're typing something. Today I'm talking about being productive. Somebody somewhere is going to type in productive, and this will pop up. And just like I'm speaking to you, it will speak to them. Now, it's not live, but you get my point, right? So you've got to always be producing and trying to reach as many people as you possibly can. Okay, so we got some comments. Dudas. What's my opinion on flipping shoes and clothes? I mean, dude, if you know what you're doing, so one of the things that I really suggest people do is look at, if you're trying to figure out, like, how can I get into a side hustle? I don't know, man. What do I do? Like, my easiest thing, I've done this with clients for well over a decade now. This works so well. I ask them to go and look at their debit card or their credit card statements or both, and look at the things that are not necessarily necessities, like food, shelter, that kind of stuff, or maybe even clothing. Could be clothing, but where are you spending all your money? So Dudas, if you're spending a lot of money on shoes, like you're really into tennis shoes and you know all the freaking doodads and all the shit, you already have a fairly good level of expertise if you're a high level consumer of it. What you have to do is then shift from being a high level consumer to start being a high level producer, in my opinion, of that product. So my answer is, I have no opinion other than my opinion is, if you're really into shoes and clothes, you might know the value and you might be able to arbitrage that. Okay. And so go into it, look for it. Dude, this is the great thing about the internet. You could go anywhere, find somebody, like Google, like, I need a shoe and clothing flipping coach. Boom. I mean, I don't know if that's the exact search phrase to use, but you get my point. You can find people that can help you do that kind of thing, right? Okay, let's go on. We got Stellar Steven, thoughts on Bale as Gore. Oh, dude. I mean, Christian Bale. I mean, I don't want to really get into Thor. Like, there's so many of these freaking Marvel things. Christian Bale is a great actor. I thought he was probably one of the best things about that movie. But the movie was just stupid. It wasn't clever. I don't know, man. I just, the writing was not there. I didn't get pulled into the characters. There wasn't anything clever. It just was super surfacey. Didn't feel really thought out. And then let's see. Stellar says online selling can help you make money independently. Yeah. So, you could get on eBay. You could start thinking about this. You could start running a podcast like this on shoes, educating people, and then pushing them like watch. So now you guys on Instagram can't see this, but all the other platforms that I'm on can see this. So then, you can push them, say, to, like, for me, I push people to scientificwrestler.com, right? Be legendary. So there's a screen burn for the YouTubers and the Facebook and the LinkedIn and the Twitch and the Twitter people that you just guys on Instagram can't see. Or here's No1 coaching. Go from No1 to No1, No1coaching.com or Coaching Catch. You see, so I mean, I don't know. Like, I've got the gift of gab. I'm not afraid of getting up in front of, I could get in front of a gigantic stadium and talk. I could talk in front of every person. I could talk in front of 8 billion people, and it would be the same as I am right now. I'm just being real. Like, that is just something that I have. So this is a great platform for me. But there's so many people that don't like that, can't handle it, whatever. So maybe you become a blogger. Maybe you put out a newsletter, like, over the internet. Maybe, you look at, like, how these other guys are doing online presentations. You can get on YouTube and you never have to show your face. You hire an editor, or you get good at editing and you find some stock photographers and do a voiceover, or there's even AI that'll do the voiceovers for you. So, there's a lot of things that you can do in that regard, but you have to produce and you have to know people. Now, so this is something that it took me a long time to learn, unfortunately. Because when I came up, there was no internet. There weren't people sharing these kind of ideas freely to people. if you weren't already networked, you had a hard time. So when I was coming up in like grappling, I wanted to, I mean, dude, I'm a kind of guy that I want to be number one. I want to, but I started when I was 20 with judo after in 1994. No, I was probably 20, 21. 1994, saw UFC 2, started at the Boulder Y for grappling, started flying in guys like Pedro Sauer, Conseco Munez, Ricardo Miguel into Boulder Karate, doing stuff. I then flew out, moved to San Francisco to study with Carly Gracie, trained a little bit with Half Gracie. And I just wasn't getting traction. I wasn't getting bookings. I didn't know how to make it work. I didn't know how to get into the scene. And frankly, I never really liked punching and kicking anyway. So I didn't really want to go the MMA route hardcore. Like I kind of dabbled 2003. Now I'm already 30 years old. I went to the first Team Quest training camp with Randy Couture and Matt Lindland and BJ Penn was supposed to be there, but he had some conflict. Anyway, it was a cool camp, but I also it reinforced that I didn't like getting hit in the head. And I liked the submission grappling. I liked submission wrestling. I liked catch as catch can. Well, there was zero catch. And the submission grappling scene, it was just like some sporadic nagas and stuff. And anyway, what I wanted didn't exist. And what I wanted, and I went into pro wrestling. Because I was dating some girl and she was into it. I really wasn't that into it, but so I went into pro wrestling, and I actually had some modest success. That was an already established system. I knew how to hustle. I knew how to push. And so, I mean, I got myself a WWE tryout. I toured the entire United States, got booked on the Vans Warped Tour, got invited to tour Europe, trained in Mexico, learned Japanese style pro wrestling from people that knew what was up. And that's really what kind of led me into the catch, right? But again, it was just this hardcore, do whatever it takes, jump on a plane, save up the money, spend the money, like take the risk, do it. I mean, so I rattled off that list of 50 things or whatever that I produced. Not all of them were hit the ball out of the park kind of thing, right? So, I mean, my wife and I produced this thing called Pinup Pro Wrestling, and there just wasn't really demand for it. I thought maybe there would be. I just tested and saw what happened, and there wasn't a huge response. Now, just because isn't a huge response isn't necessarily mean it's not. If I really pushed, but it wasn't my passion, right? You can see what my passion is based on how hard I've stuck with it on some of these things. And I'm not saying I didn't try to quit or nothing like that either. I mean, there's been times even on the stuff I'm successful with, I'm just like, dude, I'm done. I'm sick of this shit. But this is the thing. Once you've like amassed so much productivity, it's almost like the mafia. It's like you can't get out. And that's a good thing, because sometimes your mental state or your health, in my case, like, dude, I had a bad blood clot, really jacked me up for a minute. I had a stroke, really jacked me up, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Messed me up for a couple of years, and I didn't know what was going on. I had cancer, but if you produce when those fucking shocks come to the system, you're more likely to go back into it because you're already super committed, super invested in what you're doing. I hope that helps. Let's see. We got more people on the chat here. Stellar thoughts on Vampiro. Yeah, I wrestled him at the Toronto Sky Dome. Awesome dude. I met him probably 6 months earlier in Mexico when I was training out there with Ultimo Dragon. Great dude, tough guy. Probably the biggest match I ever wrestled. It was in the Sky Dome. It was cool. Stellar, Steven blowing me up. How did I get that UWFI archive? So that's another thing I didn't put on the list, and I should put. That was actually I had produced a bunch of stuff for Josh Barnett. I think we've done 3 different instructionals together early on. And Josh knew what I could do, knew that what I was able to do for Billy and other people. And so he connected me with the guys who have the rights to that, Pelk, Gene Pelk in Japan. And we talked it out, figured out a deal. And then I produced and I busted my ass and put it up. And now anybody that becomes a member of scientificwrestling.com, you can watch the old UWFI. I have over 77 hours, man. Like literally, if you tried to binge watch that, you didn't sleep, it would still take you 3 straight days. Tons of stuff. Great guys, like footage of Dan Severn before he was in the UFC, footage of Sakuraba before Pride in UFC, like all the Bad News Allen in it fighting. It's really cool. It's really cool. You can, again, you just go to scientificwrestling.com. You'll see UWFI at the top. Anyway, listen, I just want you guys to understand the importance of being productive. You've got to, if you want to be number one in a space, you have to outproduce everybody else. Okay. And the thing is that it's, yeah, you're welcome, Stephen. So the thing is it's also cumulative, right? So let's look at like fucking Vince McMahon. Okay, I'm not all the controversies and the dumb things. Yeah, has he done stupid things? Probably. Okay, I don't know. I've never met the guy. I don't know him. But dude, he's 77. Have you heard about his work ethic? It's like crazy. He's up at like 4 a.m. lifting weights. He's like super jacked still, probably juiced, but whatever. Like just up at 4 and then working all day. He was head of creative, created this $1 billion company. Okay, so it takes a lot of effort over a lot of years. I've been doing this scientific wrestling thing. You can see all the stuff that I produced for 20 years. I'm probably half done. Imagine now, and now I'm actually heading up the hockey stick. Do you understand? Because I've laid so much groundwork, and now imagine if I keep that same level of effort up. Boom. That's just how it works, man. So I'm just letting you know, as a guy who's 49 and started basically when he was 29, 20 years ago, this is what it takes. This is what it takes to be number one. All right? Outproduce, outwork, and out-network. Okay? You've got to create a large audience. Here's the other thing, man. You need to produce a lot of stuff, but you also need to have a lot of people that know what you're selling. Otherwise, you're not going to sell anything. You could produce a million things. Like imagine Stephen King. How many books has that guy written? A bajillion books. But if nobody heard of him, those books would just be sitting on his computer, right? So you've actually got to get them to market. And that is what marketing is about. How do I get this to where people will buy it? And that's part, marketing and sales is that crucial component. So I mean, it's like UFC. So UFC is the big driver in the submission grappling business. Now, there have been strides to make it its own thing, but still UFC is the big driver, mixed martial arts, for all the ancillary submission grappling businesses. They have been producing like crazy. What are they? UFC 252 or whatever the number is. I don't even know. They've been producing. And guess what? There's no way they could have done 250 shows or whatever they've done without a huge audience. It's just not sustainable. So this is the challenge, I think. A lot of people who they go into business because they like, let's say they love surfboards or skateboards or something, and they want to make it exactly, oh man, I get this idea, it'll make the skateboard so anybody can ollie or anybody can do a kickflip or what, I don't know, some design innovation. And they mistake product development, designing the product, being a technician, creating something cool, with business development, actually getting it out there, right? Grant Cardone always says, best known beats best. every time in business. And that's true. So it's one thing to produce, and it's crucial. You have to produce a lot. But then it's also important not just to work a lot, but to network a lot. So, I mean, I don't know if this was any value to you guys today. It's just, it was my birthday. I started thinking back, like, man, I'm old. What have I done? I just actually was like, well, I could quantify it by number of things that I actually produced. So that's what I did. Stellar Steven blowing me up again. Let's see what's up, dude. I love that Izzy Adesanya did an Undertaker entrance. Do you think UFC should do more Pride workouts or walkouts? I mean, I have no idea. Pride, UFC is killing it. They're doing really great. I don't want to tell somebody who's doing better than me what they should do. I think that's a stupid, pretentious thing. But I'll tell you what I'm trying to do with something I'm creating, Shoot Pro Wrestling. So Shoot Pro Wrestling, I believe we can learn the lessons of Vince McMahon, how to promote some of the clever things, okay, not the dumb cartoony things. And that's subjective. I have my own opinion on this. But I think there's a lot to be learned, like what you're talking about, Stellar Steven. And that is, maybe there's some maybe we need to focus on story, not contrived per se, but storytelling in competitive grappling. Maybe we need to focus on the athletes, the personalities, and that kind of stuff. Maybe we need to start thinking about, being less disposable with these athletes and more like building like stars. I mean, these are things that I think there are lessons to be learned. And that's why I called it Shoot Pro Wrestling. Okay. So the challenge is people who aren't familiar with pro wrestling may not know what a shoot means because that's industry specific jargon. That is a risk. But I do think that the audience for pro wrestling is probably double the audience for MMA. If you look at maybe market share numbers like valuations for, say, UFC versus WWE, it's roughly double, I think. It's been maybe 6 months since I've checked it, but so I decided to lean in towards pro wrestling because I know there's an enormous crossover. Otherwise, Vince wouldn't have been booking Ronda Rousey, wouldn't be booking Brock Lesnar or Bobby Lashley or these other guys or Kurt Angle for that matter, people who have a legitimate pedigree in the grappling sports. So for me, that's my gamble. So I think that, I want to push it that way. And I've decided to commit to that. So we ran tag team Shoot Pro Wrestling tournament. And it was awesome. It was the craziest, coolest shit, right? Never existed in old Catch as Catch Can. That's like a pro wrestling after it became fake innovation. But I decided to innovate by bringing that back into Shoot. So Mohican Tano. I'm probably messing that up. What's up, David Tice? Good to see you. How much of an influence has Catch as Catch Can wrestling? How much influence of Catch as Catch Can has there been on UFC fighters? I don't know. I'm not understanding what you wrote, but I think that's what you're saying. Well, it depends on what way you look at it. So, okay, let's start with the most easiest way. Sakuraba was on one UFC, fought Marcus Silveira or whatever his name was, that gigantic Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He's in one UFC, and he's in the Hall of Fame. Frank Shamrock, arguably the greatest athlete UFC ever had, if you get rid of the bullshit between him and Dana and the blackballing that's gone on. Frank comes from Catch as well. So huge influence, just raw. Okay. And then Josh Barnett, right? So there is influence. Okay. But let me get really real here. Amateur wrestling, folk style wrestling, freestyle wrestling, all is amateur catch as catch can. There are more champions in the UFC from a wrestling, folk style, freestyle, derivatives of catch wrestling than any other sport. Okay. So I'm like very specifically catch as catch can. Oh, great case. Well, let's get a little bit more philosophical and actually think about the impact of folk style wrestling, which is amateur catch as catch can, and freestyle wrestling, which is amateur catch. Massive influence, massive impact. That's why I went this route instead of jiu-jitsu for a couple of reasons. I'm definitely like a zig when everybody else is zagging. I did the same thing with the mace bell. It's like, okay, you guys all can swing these fucking kettlebells. I'm going to create this mace, right? And all you guys can do this, put on your pajamas, get on your knees, and put a grown man between your legs. That's cool. I'm going to go do this other thing, right? So, anyway, Mohicantano. Awesome. I never knew that. Yeah, dude. I mean, so I think catch has had like truly massive, but the problem is that there is not really a I don't think that there is people that have the grappling literacy to really make this argument. And honestly, that's probably because they didn't produce as much fucking shit as I have. Like if you go to my Facebook and look at all the stuff that I produced, especially around catch, you can see how I could put this information together because I've actually been in the stacks, organizing, integrating, talking to the people, presenting. I mean, anyway, so yeah, I don't know, man. We're creeping up on an hour. That's usually when I start pooping out. As ever, if I can help you, I am here to help you. So please, you can hit me in the DMs. I put out my birthday wish for this year. If you want to help me, I'm reciprocal. I want to make it a win-win. So the two things that I'm really needing help with, and I'm willing to make it worthwhile to you. One, I need affiliate gyms. This is all built in the scientificwrestler.com affiliate fight gym program. Working with a great lead gen company. It's like stacked, dude. It's a no-brainer. Just a no-brainer in terms of a business, but doing a business you're passionate about. But I mean business, like making money. It's a no-brainer. I just got the stats from the lead gen company. They just the lead gen company, which is just a part of the value stack that I'm offering. They got this. They're doing like a white paper for me and labeling out these clients that they've had. 1,000% ROI on their advertising spend using, and this is just one part. 1,000%. Like, figure that out. I know what 1,000% means. Do you know what 1,000% means? 1,000% increase. A 10-time increase in what you put in is to what you get out. That's why people go gamble, but people are stupid because gambling is stacked against you. Business, if you do it right and you listen to people that want to help you, it can be a good thing. Okay. That's the first thing. I need affiliate fight gyms, scientificwrestler.com. Second is for Shoot Pro Wrestling, which I was talking about. I need sponsors. I want to provide it for free. The very first one I did, I literally put my cell phone up and just filmed it and had over 25,000 views. But I need sponsors, right? Like, because I want to do a good job and it just requires money. So I need affiliate fight gyms for scientificwrestler.com and I need sponsors for shootprowrestling.com. If you can help me with that, I offer referral fees, commissions, all that kind of stuff. I sincerely appreciate it. Okay. And as ever, if I can help you, hit me up in the DMs or engage me to help you with your business like I do with these other guys. Guys, it's been a great talk. I think it's like my second day as a 49-year-old. Going good so far. So I just appreciate you guys and I'll check you tomorrow.